All right, so this is where we're headed. We're going to work on this turned animation, and this is going to be challenging in the sense that there is going to be no keyframe animations in here. So we have a little bit of dynamics, but it's mostly going to be procedural animation, which we'll talk about as we go. So barely any keyframes at all in this entire animation. So the first thing that we got to work on is the rig. We have a couple different challenges, specifically getting the barrel to spin and getting the gun to go up and down like this. And then the whole thing can rotate around just like this. So 3 different controllers. So I'm in a new scene. I'm going to go ahead and clear out my default cube. And then I'm going to import the Turnt OBJ. It's going to be located in the starter kit downloads. So Turnt version 1 located in the starter kit right there, import OBJ. And then we'll go ahead and start setting up our controllers. So we're going to need 3 different controllers. One for the barrel, one for the actual gun to tilt up and down, and then one for it to rotate. So the easiest way to create a controller for an object is to base it off its center. So if I select this emitter up front and go into edit mode up here and then go to mesh or go to snap and then cursor to selected, we'll snap that cursor. So now any new object that we create, it's going to be created right there. And if we just go back into object mode, Shift A, and then we'll do circle. And then I'll just go ahead and scale that down. And then what we need to do is essentially parent all of these objects to this empty right now, right? So what we do is just select all of these right here. And we'll kind of come down and shift select the rest of these objects. So shift select everything, make sure that you have all of these selected, and make sure you have that emitter up there as well. Make sure you have all of these objects selected by shift selecting. And then the very last thing that you want to do is shift select the empty. And then you'll do Control P, and then we'll set parent to object. So now if I simply do something like that, you'll see that we can now rotate that entire barrel. So now we need to essentially tilt this so that this barrel can move up and down. And we're going to do that based off of this pivot point back here. So this is going to be the center, and all of this is going to move like this, right? But it's going to do it based on the center of this. So what we need to do is just simply select this, and we'll go into edit mode while everything is selected, and we'll go to mesh, snap, and we'll do cursor to selected. And our cursor is going to be located there, and then we're going to back in object mode, and then simply Shift A, and we'll do empty, and then we'll do cube. We'll go ahead and scale this down to be something a little bit more relevant. Now what we can do is simply select this object right here. So we're not selecting all of this anymore because all of this is going to be parented to this, right? And then if we select that and then we select this object in here, so shift select both of those, just this one and that one. And then the last thing we'll select is this cube. So shift select the cube, and we'll just do Control P, and then we'll do object. And now we'll be able to rotate this up and down while rotating this, right? And if we look at our outliner over here, we'll start to see that we have a bit of a hierarchy going on. So this is a classic rigging hierarchy. So this object up here, this empty, is going to be the parent right here. And then we have a child being this cylinder right here. And then this empty right here is going to be this one right here. And then all these objects below here are going to be all of these. So this is classic parent-child relationship. And then we have one more to do. So we'll just select this base right here, go into edit mode by hitting tab, and then snap cursor to selected. So cursor is going to be located there. We'll go back to object mode, Shift A, empty, and then circle. Go ahead and scale this up, and then we'll rotate it 90 degrees in X. So it's sitting flat on the ground. And now we don't want to touch this because this is going to be parented to this. What we want to do is select this right here, select this right here, and then that right there. So 3 different things, and then shift select the last thing right there. And we'll just do Control P, and then set parent to object. And there we go. Now we should be able to rotate this around like this, rotate that around like that, and then rotate all of this. So we essentially can animate all this now together.